Leaders own everything in their world. And from the book it says, on any team and any organization, all responsibility for success and failure rests with the leader. The leader must own everything in his or her world. There is no one else to blame. The leader must acknowledge mistakes and admit failures, take ownership of them, and develop a plan to win. The best leaders don't just take responsibility for their job. They take extreme ownership of everything that impacts their mission. When subordinates aren't doing what they should, leaders that exercise extreme ownership cannot blame the subordinates. If an individual on the team is not performing at the level required for the team to succeed, the leader must train and mentor that underperformer. Total responsibility for failure is a difficult thing to accept, and taking ownership when things go wrong requires extraordinary humility and courage. But doing just that is an absolute necessity to learning, growing as a leader, and improving a team's performance. What do you think about that, Darren?
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And it reminds me of a certain situation I had with one of our coaches. His name's Mike Zimmer. Coached the Minnesota Vikings. Head coach just got fired just recently.
Oh, did he get fired?
Yeah,
he's on his way back to Dallas, by the way.
But he'll be back. He'll figure it out. But anyway, Bill Parcells comes in to the team, and we had a certain situation where we made a mental mistake. We're at practice, and we made a mental mistake as a secondary. And evidently the coaches had this conversation early on. Zimmer was supposed to tell us how we were going to run the coverage a little differently. He totally lapsed, didn't tell us, exactly all the ins and outs of the coverage. We busted the coverage during practice, and then Parcells went freaking ham. He just went in on the entire secondary. And let me tell you what a leader does. A leader is a guy, like the book just said, who steps up and takes the onus. Mike Zimmer walked up, said, hey, and while Parcells is yelling, he says, no, that's on me. That's on me. I didn't tell these guys exactly how we wanted to implement this system, so that's on me. Now, I've been around coaches before in the past, would freaking never do that, would never stand on it. They would sit there and watch the head coach yell at us, and then maybe later on say, hey, guys, I should have told you this. I said, you want to talk about respect. When you start to respect someone is when they fall on that landmine for you.
Yeah, what did that do for you guys as you're sitting there getting yelled at, and then Coach Zimmer steps in? What did that do for you and your teammates?
It shows you, who Zimmer was first, that he was willing to jump on that for us. And then secondly, it's, you're going to follow a guy like that. You're going to follow a guy because he's admitting that he was wrong. When he should have passed down, he's admitting that. And it's the same thing when we raise our kids. Is it any differently if you're not educating your kids, if you don't do or remind them of something, and then something happens in a situation, and if you take the blame, if you say, hey, that's on me. Yeah, you didn't know what was going on because I didn't educate you on that. Once you do those things, your kids start to see that, they'll say, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Dad's there. He's a ride or die for
What's a true testament? And I mean, that's awesome, right? And as a leader to set that example. But what's impressive to me, and what the people that stand out are the people that, by admitting it, have something that could lose something, right? Zim probably wasn't going to get fired,
right?
Like, he owned it. He probably wasn't. And I'm not downplaying that scenario, but if a guy is in a position that his screw up could cost him either a job or something serious, and he still admits it, that's a guy, man, that I'd go into battle with.
Right.
And there's been multiple guys, like, and you see it a lot in training camp where everyone's fighting for their job, right? Everybody's puckered up, everybody's nervous. Not everybody, most guys, and the guys that are willing to, and one of the guys that I remember was Jameel Showers. Yeah. And he's younger. I was a vet. He was a rookie, and he made some mistake, and our offensive coordinator Scott Linehan was ripping into the receiver, and this was in front of the whole offense, ripping into him, and it's a younger group of guys, and was like ripping into him for something, didn't run the route right or something like that, and Showers, because I've been in quarterback rooms. Been in quarterback rooms in Chicago where the quarterback will just let guys get thrown under the bus, and it was his mistake, right? But I mean, I remember Jamil saying something, and he's like, "No, coach, hey, listen, I told him to do something different. He did exactly what I asked him to do."
Right.
And then he got ripped. But it was like, he didn't have to do that. He could have he could have quietly at the end of it been like, "Hey, dog, you're good. It's my bad."
Right.
My
Yeah.
bad. That's on me.
He stood up on it.
Because players do that all the time. Oh, that's me. That's me. But man, what I love is the men and women that step up and wear the mistake, take ownership of it, even when there's a lot to lose.
Right.
Yeah.
And pride, you know, when you say a lot to lose, a lot of times people you're so prideful, you don't want to be wrong.
Yep.
You don't want to be wrong. You don't want to be like a coach or a player. You don't want to be in a situation where, you know, I was wrong and your pride steps in the way and you're like, oh, you try to deflect. That's, to me, is you're right, Ty. It's like when you put yourself on the line, you show your vulnerable side, that's when people will see it and they'll follow.
Yeah, the pride thing's going to come up here later. But two of my least favorite phrases, they're pretty much one and the same, is it's not my fault. It's so-and-so's fault.
Yep.
Or that's not my job.
Oh,
I'm with you, dude. I couldn't agree more.
How many times have you heard that, whether on the field, at some business organization, in your family, maybe?
My kids.
That's not my job.
That's one of my two bigs. One does the trash cans. They take the trashes out and they take them up, and the other does the dishwasher. And anytime I ask the other one, like say the other one's gone, and I ask him to do it, that's her job or that's his job. Oh, dude, nothing gets my blood boiling. And I'm not going to share how I discipline them because I'd probably get a ret. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I couldn't agree with you more.
Well, that's a lesson that my sons are going through. And I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. And the 2-year-old doesn't understand, obviously. He gets something out, toys out. He doesn't know to put them back in. And so the hard lesson for my 5-year-old right now is going through, hey, I didn't make the mess either as the father, but I'm still going to pick it up. You can help as well, right? Trash on the floor. That's not my trash. That's the lesson we're going through right now. Teaching him, hey, just because it's not your trash, just because you didn't get the toys out, doesn't mean you don't contribute. We all contribute. We're a team here. We're a family.
I like
We're
the way
a
you
unit.
say that.
No,
you are so good, I mean,
that's so good.
You are so wholesome the way you said it. We all contribute.
Because I get trivial with my kids sometimes. I'm like,
What do you want me to just like dog cuss them?
Dog. I'll give a damn whose it is.
No, I start taking away like life necessities that I provide my kids.
Beating some ass.
I didn't make that mess. They'll be like, I didn't make that mess. It was Sia or it was Rocco. And I'll be like, okay, cool. Well, hey, you didn't go to work and pay for this house, so you're sleeping outside tonight. Like, and I'll literally
we can go on all day. That's not your job. That's not my job either. And that just I can just as long as I can remember. And obviously there was a time I went through where I wasn't. I didn't have this mentality. But for as long as I can remember, probably since college, that's always just gotten under my skin. When somebody tries to pass the blame, when they say it's not their fault, when they say that's not their role, so they don't have to do that.
Dude, I see.
It's kind of like our paper towel deal.
It kind of is. But
it's not my job to pick up those paper towels.
It's not, man. And that's what, you know what, look, Ben, I admire that about you, and I admire that about both of you guys, because even in our office, I mean, I've seen both of you. Honestly, you probably didn't know I saw both of you, but I've seen you guys. Something's on the floor, you're picking it up. Someone spills something that they didn't even know they spilled some coffee. I've seen Ty come up behind and wipe up things. Like you take ownership in your own office, and that says something about our kids the same way. Like it's your house. This is your house, not just mine. This is your house. Own it.
Your health is not where you want it to be. Take ownership of that. It's nobody else's fault but yours. You control what goes into your mouth. You control what motions and movements your body does. Right? So it's not just football, it's not just business, it's everywhere. This principle. If we just imagine, I'll put it to you this way and then we'll move on. When's the last time a leader of our country, and you can go back as long as you want, Darren. You've been around longer than us. When's the last time a leader of our country or of our city or of our state stood up on the microphone and said, hey guys, this is one's on me. This is my fault. This is what we're going to do to fix it. I cannot think of one single example of anybody doing that.
You watched Lincoln say that he should have started, didn't you?
Abe was pretty.
Abe was pretty good.
Abe showed some extreme ownership.
Abe did that, didn't he?
No, hell no. Honest Abe's trying to get too much credit.
And again, that's not just this what do they call it? This regime. What do you call it?
Yeah, I mean that could apply.
That sounds like a dictatorship.
Hey,
that's not just this group.
Is this administration?
There you go. Thank you.
How about that one? This regime.
China, 2022. No, that's not just this.
So true though. So true.
That's
think about how much peace could be brought to our country right now if someone from the CDC, someone from the president himself, someone local. I would say I think we see it maybe a little bit more in the state, and we're really lucky to be in Texas, and I feel like Governor Abbott does a pretty good job about being honest and like he'll say things. But imagine how much like peace that would be brought to just the dispute and the division if like, hey guys, we didn't know what we were doing on COVID. And we don't have all the answers, but we're working our ass off trying to find those answers for you. Like, here is what we know now, and this is the best that we can do. Our guidance is this, and we're gonna work our asses off to get you more concrete scientific information. But right now, this is all we know because we've had a very limited time.
Yeah, people look
crazy.
It's crazy. But let's be honest with it. Let's be honest with it. People aren't losing their job. People are not trying to lose their job.
That's it.
Because the armchair quarterbs
call for your head.
Absolutely, you say for your head. Yes, right.
Yeah, and look, I certainly don't have all the answers. None of us do. But you're right. You're right, Tyler. It would have been nice if from the get-go they would have said, hey, guys, this is something new. Nobody knows how to deal with this. Yeah. These are the steps we're going to take until we know more. This is what we know now. This is how we're going to control it. If they just come out and say that instead of leading this wild goose chase for the last 3 years, right?
Anyways.
So, and we could go on for hours about that.